Hey there, this is Andrew, and I'm going to open up another Vault Master deck. These have been interesting to see so far. Last one I opened seemed pretty good, had a good logos, and I ran it. I played a few games with it, and it was fun. Definitely not going to bring it to a Vault tour anytime soon, but yeah, it was fun, and it really is neat to see just these cards shine in different contexts. But I will say, yeah, the logos in Vault Master really has very high potential. So I like that. I think the other houses just really don't shine quite as much. And all in all, I think it's probably better for the game that there aren't a lot of super awesome. I mean that these are just kind of okay in general. And I think, anytime a set has kind of a high middle of the curve, I know that some people struggle to think about things this way, but if you think about that bell curve of how good a deck is and how many decks, what quantity of decks are that good, you're going to have these outliers that are kind of wild and crazy, but really what is very nice is if you can take that middle where there's a lot of decks and move it over to be very good. Anyway, and so if a set does that without increasing the limit of how good a deck is, then I think that's always a good thing. All right, so this is Reistr, who reflects upon vaults, and it's Brobnar, Mars, and Saurian. Ugh, this is sad. We're starting with Grumpus Tamer. Almost as bad as starting with Status Raptor. Maybe we'll get Grumpus Tamer and Status Raptor. Yeah. So Grumpus Tamer is a 4-power giant who, after he reaps, you search your deck and discard pile for a War Grumpus and add it to your hand, then you shuffle your deck. War Grumpus is a 3-power beast with after fight, after reap, ready and fight with a neighboring giant. And Grumpus Tamer does guarantee you're going to get 2 War Grumpuses. It's one of the worst Brobnar rares in my opinion, because War Grumpus already I think just isn't that good. This one got a damage pip on it. Add something that searches for it. I don't think it's enough value. And you're taking 3 cards to do this. Fire Breath is okay. Creature gets +3 power, and before fight, deal 2 damage to each neighbor of the creature this creature fights. And it comes with an amber on this upgrade. That's fine. Ogopogo is fine. 6-power giant. After it attacks and destroys a creature, you can deal 2 damage to a creature. Screech Bomb, not sad to see that. Artifact and weapon has Omni, destroy it, and your opponent loses 2 amber. Volcano is an action that deals 4 damage to each creature and then gives you 2 chains. We've got Berserker Slam, which is an action with an amber that deals 4 damage to a flank creature. And if this damage destroys that creature, its controller loses 1. That's fine. Brick Nasty, not bad. 5-power giant Brocken that says after another friendly Brobnar creature fights, gain an amber. Now, the thing here with these War Grumpuses is, like, can they do good? Yeah, like, put them with an Ogopogo, have a Brick Nasty on the board, and you're cooking, but it's just, it's really kind of a lot to ask for. Cowfine, 5-power giant with before fight. Deal 2 damage to each neighbor of the creature Cowfine fights. We've got another one of those. So yeah, so we have good targets for the War Grumpuses. They have to stay on the board. The giants have to stay on the board. It's a tall order. And then we have Drummerknot, a 6-power giant with play after fight after reap. Return another friendly giant creature to your hand. Also really nice, but nothing in here that can really take advantage of that. If you had Ganger Chieftain to go with it, that could be exciting. but there's all you're really doing is getting a free full heal and move to a flank for a giant. All right, let's check out the Mars. We have Entropic Manipulator. It's an action with an amber. When you play it, you choose a player, and you can redistribute the damage on the creatures that player controls among that player's creatures. That's fine and could be really interesting with all this, with the cow finds and stuff. It's sad though. I will say this Brobnar, almost every card in here. Yeah, I mean this is a Worlds Collide Brobnar, with the exception of Brick Nasty, right? This is a Worlds Collide Brobnar. Alright, Containment Field is an upgrade. It says after this creature is used, destroy it. Crystal Hive is an artifact, and location, when you action it for the remainder of the turn, you gain an amber after a creature reaps. That's nice, and we got 2 of those. Whoa, that could be some crazy Mars turns coming up. We'll see what else we get. We have Nizek Resonator, a 2-power Martian soldier with 1 armor, and for each neighbor it has, your opponent's keys cost +2. Suspended Animation is an action. It enhances for 2 damage, and when you play it, you put a damaged enemy creature into your archives, and if it leaves your archives, you put it into its owner's hand instead. Biomatrix Backup is an upgrade with an amber that gives a creature destroyed, put this creature into its owner's archives. Mars First is an action with an amber that says ready and use a friendly Mars creature. That could be really nice with those crystal hives. Mindworm is a 1-power beast with elusive. Before it fights, the creature it fights deals damage equal to its power to each of its neighbors. We've got Scoop Up, an action with an amber that says put a friendly non-Mars creature and an enemy non-Mars creature into your archives. And standard Mars archiving text. And then we've got Xanthix Harvester with a damage pip on him. He 3-power beast that can't be used while it has a non-Mars neighbor. After it reaps, you gain 1. So potentially, with the Crystal Hive, you can reap Xanthix Harvester to gain 4, and you can do that on the turn you play it, or potentially twice in 1 turn. So I mean, there's a potential there for this to go really awesome, but it's kind of a lot to ask for all those pieces to fall into place, in my opinion. We do have a little bit of help from an Ixilx Dominator, who's a 9-power robot with 1 armor and taunt, but enters play stunned. So far, here's my thoughts. We got 6 amber pips. We are really going to depend on the creatures being on the board and doing work. Crystal Hive can help, but we only have 4 Mars creatures. Brobnar can help keep the board clear, but it's not necessarily going to be doing that much work outside of that. Yeah, I don't think this is that great. Now this is interesting. An Imperial Forge. So we're in Desarian now. This is an action with an amber that says forge a key at +8 the current cost, reduced by 1 for each amber on friendly creatures. So if we have a lot of capture, this could be really good. Now, have we seen any capture so far? None. So we'll see what we get in the Saurian itself. City-state interest could really help. And if we're building a big board with Brobnar and Mars, then you could potentially have a city-state interest to capture a lot, and then get good value out of Imperial Forge. Exile, also very interesting. So city-state interest says play, each friendly creature captures 1. Exile is an action with an amber that says give control of a friendly creature to your opponent. That can be very good, especially if we've captured a bunch. City-state interest doesn't pair very well with it, though, because we're only capturing 1. And with Exile, you'd really like to capture, or 1 per creature. With Exile, you'd really like to capture a lot onto 1 creature. We'll see what else we get, though. Library of Peliosaurus, that's nice. It's an artifact and location that says action, move 1 amber from a friendly creature to your pool. Orator Hisaro is a 3-power dinosaur politician with deploy. And when you play it, you ready and exalt each of its neighbors, and for the remainder of the turn, they belong to House Saurian. So that could be really good. For one thing, if you get that with the city-state interest, now you've put 2 amber on the same creature that powers Imperial Forge. It's also nice for Exile. We could potentially, oh no, wouldn't work for Xanthix Harvester because you couldn't use it while it had the Orator Hisaru as a neighbor. So I guess you end up using one of these Brobnar creatures, probably, or a Saurian creature that we have yet to see. Feels a little Worlds Collide-y. Okay. Aquilia Lone Hero is a 6-power dinosaur soldier with 1 armor. It has Omni Capture 1 if there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures. That could be nice for powering, again, the Imperial Forge and the Exile, although we probably want to actually be controlling the board with this Brobnar, so I don't know that that's likely to fire very much. Cornican Octavia could help. A 5-power dinosaur soldier with 1 armor and action capture 2. Okay. Got 2 of those. And then Lapisaurus, who is a 4-power beast with 2 armor and taunt. And while an enemy creature is attacking it, they get before fight exalt this creature. Got 2 of those. So 3 taunts in here. Nothing, not that much that we'd really want to taunt. Okay, Golden Spiral, that could be interesting here. So Golden Spiral is an artifact and location. When you action it, you exalt a friendly creature, ready and use that creature. So now I can see there's a potential turn here where you play a Cornican Octavia, Golden Spiral it to exalt it and capture 2, Orator Hisaru it to exalt it, capture 2. Now it has 6 on it. You can you maybe run City State Interest, capture another one, so now it has 7. Imperial Forge, you're going to forge for cheap, and then Exile, hand that 7 amber over to your opponent. So there's a cool combo there, but it's a lot to dig for, and we don't really have any archiving going on, with the exception of, once you play your Order Hisaru, you probably want to scoop it up the next turn if you possibly can. All right. Last card here, Tricerian Legionary. That's a nice card. It's a 5-power dinosaur soldier with 1 armor, taunt, and when you play it, you ward a friendly creature. But does it fit into this sort of combo situation? Not really. So I think this is a cool Saurian combo, and you could get situations where you draw it at the right moment all together and can really do a pretty cool move. But by and large, that's not going to happen most of the time. The Mars stuff is fine. Definitely a threat with the Crystal Hives. They're going to have to kill your Mars creatures, but just okay. And the Brobnar really seems like Worlds Collide Brobnar. So I think this deck is not that great. And I'm interested to see what SAS it gets. But I would guess that this one's going to be in the low 60s. And let's see. All right. Deck is scanned. Go to Decks of Keyforge. Import it. 61. Yep. All right. Sounds about right. Some interesting stuff in there, but nothing too crazy, and that's all right. A lot of decks are going to be that way. So that was Reistr, who reflects upon vaults. Oh, I'll just mention as kind of a side thing, I noticed, so there's some Winds of Exchange decks accidentally got double printed, and so people have been dealing with that. I noticed the other day I had a deck that someone someone scanned that I had already scanned, and so they did a Master Vault claim, uh, which I denied because I do own the deck. Well, one of the deck, and so anyway, it's now sitting in verification pending is the status. And I imagine it's kind of interesting to me. I probably should reach out to Ghost Galaxy because I imagine that what they would do is notice, oh, this is a Winds of Exchange deck. This must have been part of that problem, and kind of figure out to do the right thing here. But I do have a slight fear that they would just hear from the other person and uh, get a picture of them having the full deck and go ahead and do the transfer, and then leaves me in a kind of a lurch. So, and at the end of the day, I'd be happy to get a fresh deck and let this person take ownership of this one, or be the one with the twin version. I don't care, as long as I get something and don't get a shard taken away. So interesting to see. I think Ghost Galaxy is generally handling that situation pretty well now that it has happened. Um, but interesting to be a part of one, and especially interesting. I haven't had the situation yet where I tried to scan a deck and someone already had, but interesting to be on this side of it. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll work it out in a way that makes sense. All right. So that was Reistr, who reflects upon vaults. Hope you enjoyed and that you'll get out there and forge some keys.